Hey folks, it's Sven Jungbeck again, and today I will teach you the most common chord voicings for the 2-5-1 in Gypsy swing music, and I will do that in the key of D major. So that we're basically talking about E minor, A dominant 7 to D major. Well, that's pretty easy, huh? These are the basic chords, of course. So well, in the beginning, the 2-5 that I recommend, I will show you the one that I play most of the time, and that's played most of the time. And that one goes like that. It starts on the pretty common E minor 7 chord. Then I switch to some kind of B flat dim, but it's actually an A13 with B flat in the bass. So it doesn't matter how you call it. It could also be an A dominant 7 13 with B flat in the bass, and that makes it an A dominant 7 flat 9, but the flat 9 is in the bass. However you call it, whatever is happening is only a movement in the bass. We go from E to B by, moving the middle finger one string above. Then I just have to, move these fingers one fret below. You see? So I got that one. The bass is moving to the 6th fret to B flat. And then I play D major with A in the bass as well by, playing 2 notes with one finger, with the middle finger playing A and D at the same time. I'm, placing my finger between the strings. This might appear difficult when you try it for the first time, but it's absolutely worth working on it. Most of the things that you haven't done before are just not, you're just not used to them, but they can be learned. Changing technique is always a possibility to enrich your technical abilities, and it's always a good thing to do. Kids do it all the time, switching the position of the pick, and trying runs with different fingerings. That's how you get better technically. So the whole 2-5 would be like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got the E minor. I got the E minor, then the E minor with B in the bass, the whole bar of that A dominant 7 13 with B flat in the bass, and D6 9. So the D6 9, of course, is really the most difficult probably. I'm playing 2 notes with my index, like F sharp and B, and 2 notes with my ring finger, E and A, and 2 notes with that one. So we got... So, and from now on we can start a lot of different variations. One of the most easy variations is, leaving the pinky in the 8th fret, removing it to the 7th fret to gain the sound of E minor 9. And that's done a lot. So almost everything stays the same except for the pinky that will now on the E minor be playing the F sharp. Also very nice sound. What you can also do instead of alternating the bass is playing all 6 strings at once, and this is a typical gypsy jazz technique. It's the same technique that we used for the D major 6 chord before, by placing the finger between the strings. Here it is the middle finger again, playing B and E. Then the first finger, the index, is playing G, and the ring finger is playing a mini bar chord, performing, it's banded on D, F sharp, and B. So we can play it like that, The most easy way is playing only 3-note voicings. And this is also very common. You play the E minor like this with only 3 notes, only D, G, and D. So you got the most important notes for E minor 7, which is the root, the 3rd, and the 7, no 5th. In jazz chords, the 5th sometimes is avoided. In gypsy jazz, very often it's not. We got the 5th in the bass. We got in gypsy jazz, we even got, power chord sounds in the bass, by using chords like that, by using the thumb. But here, this is also working. E minor 7, A7 like this, only root, 7th and 3rd. This is a typical big band voicing. And then again, going back to D6. And now we can also play the D6 with leaving out both E strings. It's not changing the sound, because what we lose is a 5th that's, doubled in the octave. Here's the A and here's the A, and we can leave that one out. So that will sound like this. If you play it good with the right hand strumming, it's almost no difference, you know. But I will now play the full voicing, and you will hear that the bass notes, especially the bass notes, are very important. Listen to the difference. Possible, you know, it's also absolutely working, and it's absolutely fine. So when we do this position again, what we also can do, and what is very fine, is performing a bass note movement. A little, not like a walking bass, it's more like a two-step bass, but I like that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. What I do is I play the very normal E minor 7 jazz chord, then I, you know, let the index go, no third anymore, let the middle finger go, and the index is playing a D. So I got only 3 notes here, like D string is muted, another D, and G. It's just a short moment because it's just the switch of the bass note, so the chord doesn't matter. This chord is not so beautiful, but it's just a short moment. We got from... Then I go to C sharp, which is the third of A. And on the C sharp, I will play a very common substitution for the A dominant 7 chord. This is the C half diminished chord, or the C sharp half diminished, or C sharp minor 7 flat 5. And this is with C sharp, G, B, and E. And the last chord that I'm playing is A dominant 7. And this is a typical gypsy jazz voicing. In case you don't know it, it's the thumb plays the root, A string is muted, then we got G, C sharp, E. Of course I know that the open A is the same note than the note that I'm playing with my thumb, but if I would use the open A, I got 2 problems then. First of all, the open A would ring all the time, and the more important reason is that I could do it only on A. So I'm using the thumb so I can, you know, also play on B flat, A flat, and so on. So that's what's happening. I'm playing E minor with D in the bass, C sharp half diminished, and A dominant 7. Instead of that A dominant 7, you can also play this if you don't like the thumb. You can even play a bar chord. The only thing at the bar chord that's a bit annoying is the root up on the E string. That's not really sounding in the pocket in the style of gypsy jazz. But the rest is okay. And you can play that one that a lot of players do. This is the same that we had before, like with root, A string muted, G, C sharp, E, but the pinky is playing E. So you got a power chord in the bass. And this is very recommended, and it's also worth learning that, you know, and you got this. And then back to D6. Most of the time, or a lot of times, I play the D6 like that. This is my D6, my typical D6. I do not even play the high note. I'm playing it to the B string, but the important thing is that I got the A and the D in the bass. This is something that I always look out for because it really sounds great. So in that position, you know, these are the most important to my mind. Then you can have some some chords around here that are also nice. For example, that one I've stolen from Nushi Rosenberg. He plays an E minor triad, I guess, but it's like, you know, it's in a how do you call that? It's an inversion. So we got G, B, E, and G. And this is a substitute for E minor. If you would play E in the bass, or the bass player plays the E in the bass, it's an E minor triad chord. And from that, I leave my ring finger on the G and my pinky on the E, and move the other fingers, middle and index, to C sharp and B flat. So I gain a C sharp diminished chord, which is a substitute for A dominant 7 flat 9. So somehow very similar to that chord. So, and I got like, and again I can go to the D6. And a special thing that Nushi does here is a little movement on a D chord, and that comes from this D chord. This is like in the bar chord, the C major chord voicing that you all know. Well, we play it like this with the thumb up the fretboard to mute the strings and to avoid, you know, moving the hand too much. And actually, Nushi is only playing these 3 strings, so he can do a very common movement in gypsy swing. He's alternating from the A to the B, like. Having F sharp A D, F sharp B D. So the whole movement is like. Really like that, it's nice. So the last thing that's very typical for gypsy jazz is, of course, the 2-5 from the A string, from the E string, sorry. And therefore, you know, I won't show it in D because then it's up in the 12th fret, which is not very useful here. We will now change the key to the key of G major. So, and the most common 2-5 is really A minor 7, pretty normal jazz chord, D7 9, and then you pick a number of possible G6 chords. The easiest one that sounds like gypsy swing is that one. The E string is muted, and we got the D, G, B, and E. 5th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. So that will sound like that. Absolutely fine. You can even improve that one by using the full form, and this is like adding the thumb in the bass and even bending the pinky like that. But I can't do that. When I do that, I change the whole chord form. I like to play 2 notes with 1 finger. I do this. So instead of having the middle finger and ring finger playing D and G, I play both notes with the middle finger, having a 3rd here, and play both notes with my ring finger up here. So I got the 9 on the melody note, the A. So it's root, 5th, root, 3rd, 6th, and 9. So you got it. Also, in that way of playing, I can say that there is a lot of possibilities to play the A minor 7, and they are all okay. Some players use 4 fingers, playing all in the 5th fret. Some use the thumb. Then it's very easy to use the 9 here, and this is all okay. I always use certain voicings to make sure that the change to the next chord is easier or more fluid. And this is what I look after. And this is my basic idea of what chords I play. And then these are the 3-note voicings. A minor 7, leaving out the B string. D9 with the 3 fingers and also working. All in the style of gypsy jazz works very well. Okay, at the end of this lesson, it was a short lesson, hope you liked it anyway. At the end of this lesson, I want to give you a little goodie, some things that you can do to add on some different chords and reharmonize the 2-5 somehow. And the most common one, we go back to the D major key. The most common one by using that chords is before you play D, you play E flat dominant 7-9. This is a tritone substitute for A. And that sounds great. Play it like. When you are alone, or also when you're not alone, but there are some things that you can do to make the rhythm guitar interesting. For example, you can play G instead of E minor, because E minor and G is pretty much the same chords, and instead of going from E minor to the A, you go to the A from the 4th, from G, but then play in the second half of the measure, you play G sharp diminished, and then A. This is like. So we got the G6. No matter which one, you can also play that one or that one. Only 3 notes with G, E, and B, or G, E, B, and D. You can play the whole one. You can play that one. It doesn't matter. Then you can play the 3-note voicings with G sharp, F, and B. But but you can also bend the index to get the sound of D. And then I play A dominant 7 with the 3-note voicing. And the second half of the measure I play C sharp dim. You can play C sharp dim for the sound of flat 9, having the B flat here, or you can play a natural 9. Both is working in major. So you got this sound. I use different voicings now. And this is very tasty, especially if you have a tune like Coquette where the 2-5 is coming all the time. You can try to, you know, improve on the 2-5, playing the tune like that. 1, 2, 3. And so on, you know. Then now all the 2-5s were in there that I showed in the beginning. So, and the same thing with the tritone substitute. Of course, you can do it also on the 2-5 to G. Then the tritone substitute would be A flat dominant 7, and this is the same sound. So you can go like, or easier like. This is the basic things that people do in Gypsy Swing on that kind of chord progression. So I hope you like that. If yes, subscribe to my channel. There's a lot of nice lessons and also a lot of nice performances by some of the finest players in Europe. And I wish you all the best for 2021. This was Sven for you. Bye.